Gentleman from Ohio reserves. Gentlewoman from Texas is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, can I inquire how much time is remaining?
Gentlewoman from Texas has 13 and a half minutes remaining. Gentleman from Ohio has 11 minutes remaining.
Speaker, you know what I am most, how should I say it, honestly grateful for in the backdrop of Thanksgiving is that we had a Speaker of the House that never stopped negotiating and trying to find relief for the dying Americans and those suffering from COVID-19 with a major infusion of dollars almost 8 months ago. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that we are now in the midst, if you will, late but engaging in negotiations, and that we're committed not to leave this place, not to go home for any holidays before we provide relief for the American people. I am grateful for that. That is going to happen. And so it's important to note that work is going on, led by our Speaker, and we hope that we'll have the right partner to be able to save the lives of the American people who are now suffering from COVID-19. The MORE Act also saves lives. I'm delighted to yield to one of the strongest advocates for the MORE Act to save lives, to help young people, Congresswoman Barbara Lee of California, distinguished member of the Appropriations Committee, for 3 minutes.
Gentlewoman from California is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me thank the gentlelady for yielding and just reemphasize what you just said. And I was so proud to vote for the HEROES Act twice, nearly 8 months ago. And I think that we have to move forward and continue to negotiate, and hopefully we'll get some votes on the other side of the aisle to help save lives and to help save businesses and to help our economic recovery. But I was proud to have voted for that twice already. So did you. So thank you, Congresswoman Jackson Lee, for your tremendous leadership and bringing this bill to the floor. The Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act, the MORE Act. And let me just thank Chairman Nadler and our fellow co-chair of the Cannabis Caucus, Congressman Earl Blumenauer, our respective staffs, and everyone for their effort, including the House Judiciary staff for your hard work and for helping to bring this bill together to the floor. Also, I have to call your attention to the advocates for their dedication and educating the public on this issue. This bill is an important racial justice measure. It's the product of years of work by so many activists and advocates and young people, and it's long overdue. Yes, I've worked to end the war on drugs for many years. The MORE Act includes my legislation, the Marijuana Justice Act, and the REFER Act, which is the first marijuana, these are the first marijuana racial justice bills introduced in Congress. This landmark legislation would end the federal prohibition and decriminalize cannabis nationwide by removing it from the list of controlled substances, which is a major step, mind you, a major step toward ending the unjust war on drugs and racial inequities which are central to these laws. This bill will facilitate expungement of low-level federal cannabis convictions, create pathways for lucrative legal cannabis business ownership and opportunities for communities of color, and provide critical resources for those most devastated by the war on drugs for restorative justice to repair this damage. I'd like to just mention and ask for unanimous consent to insert into the record the statement by the chair of our Ways and Means Committee, Mr. Richard Neal, and I'd like to just read a portion of his statement as it relates to a Ways and Means tax issue, which Mr. Blumenauer is going to discuss a little further.
Without objection.
Mr. Neal has addressed an issue that came to our attention as an exclusion in this measure and made a commitment, and he says that he looks forward to continuing to work with the measure's sponsors and other committees of jurisdictions to achieve an effective tax regime that supports a vibrant legal market and provides individuals most affected by this war on drugs the opportunity to fulfill and fully participate in this emerging economy. Make no mistake, and I want to thank the chair of the Ways and Means Committee for agreeing to help us fix several provisions of this important bill. But make no mistake, this is a major racial justice bill. According to the ACLU, Black Americans are nearly 4 times more likely to be arrested for cannabis-related crimes than white Americans. May I have an additional 30 seconds?
I yield the gentlelady an additional 30 seconds.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Black and brown people are targeted more frequently than white Americans despite equal rates of use. Additionally, prison sentences for Black and brown people are more likely to be lengthier than white people. Black men receive sentences over 13% longer than white men, and nearly 80% of people in federal prisons for drug offenses are Black or Latino. And so it's time to end these unjust laws which shatter the lives of so many young people of color. I tell you, we have got to, colleagues, we have got to give our young people a second chance. So please vote yes on this bill to help us move our unfinished business of liberty and justice for all forward. We have got to begin to really provide racial justice, crack these chains of systemic racism in this mass incarceration judicial system. So thank you again very much, Madam Chair. I urge an aye vote.